Salutare tuturor, sunt Andrei Radu, bine ați venit la E-Plan. Astăzi este un episod special pentru că invitatul meu de astăzi este vorbitor de limba engleză, așadar întregul nostru dialog va fi în limba engleză, dar înainte de a face acest switch to English, permiteți-mi să fac introducerile. Invitatul de astăzi are peste 25 de ani de experiență în marketing, vânzări, fuziuni și achiziții, strategie și inovații, mare parte fiind în industria de curierat. A lucrat în companii multinaționale din Europa, Orientul Mijlociu și Statele Unite ale Americii, iar de curând s-a alăturat echipei Cargus din poziția de CEO. So, allow me to switch to English to say welcome to Mr. Yannick Moiman. Did I say it correctly? Is that correct?
Absolutely, Andrei. That's 100% correct.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
I'm very happy to be here together with us at E-Plan. So I know that you were being appointed CEO of Cargus in November this year, so very recent. What are your main objectives and goals for Cargus in the following 2 or 3 years in the near future? And where is Cargus situated right now in the local courier market?
Well, let me start with the last question.
Okay.
If we look at Cargus and its current position in the Romanian market, it's known that we are one of the oldest, if not the oldest, company in our industry, logistics and small package delivery in Romania. I think we're well positioned for the next 30 years.
Okay.
And the reason is that we have proven that we're very agile. We have weathered different storms throughout those 30 years. Have had a lot of positive momentum. And actually, we're known for excellent service. I think over the last couple of years, we took it up a notch.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
And actually, I think we're one of the best, if not the best, in service at the moment. So we're well positioned. Now, where do we take it from here is, first of all, I would say we're going to further strengthen the core. What I mean with that is we're going to build on the success that we have had over those 30 years and work further on service and service quality, because that's...
For the customers, for the end
For
users.
the customers, that
Okay.
is the foundation of the business. That's what we're doing. Secondly, we're going to expand our horizon. What do I mean with that? There is, we believe, ample of opportunity to go international. As a matter of fact, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that later on.
Cross-border, right.
Cross-border, both export and import. Our current focus is on import, but we will add export too. And we're also focusing on addressing new segments in the market. They are not really new for the market, but they're new for Cargus. And I can give one example.
Please.
Is the C2C market, so individual to individual. We know that is an attractive market in Romania, and we're going to focus on it. Then the third point that I would like to mention is transformation of the business model. We are known as a company that actually ships door to door, and we're going to add something to that, as you have been able to see recently, is we have built an out-of-home network. So instead of
It is a trend in the entire Europe, the out-of-home delivery, lockers and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had already PUDO locations, so pick-up and drop-off locations, but a limited number, around 600.
Okay.
And we have recently actually expanded that to about 3,000, including lockers, 300 in total. And we have been spending a year almost in building this network supported by technology, and that we're going to take now to the next level and go through all the efforts to also fill that network properly.
What is your unique value proposition? Because every company has to have a unique value proposition, something that differentiates that company from the competitors.
Yeah.
What is Cargus's one?
I would mention, I think, 3 to 4 things. I already talked about the fact that we're very agile and flexible. We had to be, because, as said, over the 30 years, there were many different moments in our industry, ups and downs, and we had to ride that wave. I think we have proven that we're able to do that very effectively. I also think we're known for innovation. I think that is at the core of Cargus, our culture of what we're doing. And actually, if you look at the things that we have done lately, also when it comes to apps and building a fantastic customer experience. I think that's what we're known for. So not only building the solutions, but making sure that they're also very strong from a customer experience. And then the last thing that I would say is, I think where we differentiate ourselves is in the area of how we deal with customers. I think we're very close to our customers. We're very supportive and flexible, and we're really looking for partnerships in order to work together to actually help our customers grow and to deliver great service to their customers.
Okay, since we were talking about the entire market, the Romanian courier market, and maybe directly related to the e-commerce industry, because this is our focus at ePlan, what do you think is the potential of the market, including the e-commerce market, and where do you see the market, I don't know, maybe in a few years from now on?
Yeah, sure. I think Romania is a super attractive market. If you look at Romania and we go 10 years back and compare that with today, the market almost became 5 times as big as then. And I don't
Indeed.
think there are a lot of markets that can say that in Europe. What we also see is that Western Europe is pretty saturated, both when it comes to the merchants as well as to the providers. So these merchants are looking for new markets to actually grow their business and to expand. And we have seen over the years, and especially quite recently, companies from the West or mid-Europe to actually move further to the East. And I think that's a great opportunity for Romania. And that's also where we want to help these customers and merchants to actually do that. So I foresee strong growth also in the years to come, driven by B2C, driven by e-commerce primarily. I think, though, the growth will be a little less than we have had over the last 5 years. We all know the economic environment that we're in. It's a bit looking into a crystal ball to understand what exactly is going to happen. But I would say 5 to 7% growth for the market.
Next year compared to this year?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And I think that is the level of growth we can expect maybe for the next 3 years. Obviously, year 2 and 3 is more difficult to predict. If we only look at the e-commerce market, I think that we can aim for about 10% growth market as a whole.
10% growth.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same percentage this year compared to last year. Also 10% increase. But of course, in 2019, the pandemic, 2020, the pandemic year, we had 35% increase from
exactly.
one year to another.
Yeah. And that's also because, customers, consumers actually didn't have a choice other than to buy online, right? It was online or nothing. I think that, to your point, absolutely has created a boost. I think the interesting thing is that if you look at older generations that were hesitant maybe in the past to actually go online, right? And to use maybe a credit card online, to pay online, that those people, since they didn't have a choice, they actually did it and then actually experienced and thought, this is really good. Why will we
This is the way.
This is the way. It's easy, it's convenient, I have control. So why not do more of that? And what you see is that a lot of the people that have tried now stay. And I think that is also why, the growth continues. Obviously, in a somewhat different economic climate right now, driven by all the things that we know are going on, that maybe might temper that growth a little bit, as I explained.
We also have a Google study which says the same thing, that people who shopped online during the pandemic stayed online, which is very good.
Yeah.
I know you have a lot of international expertise, and I wanted to ask you if are there any changes or trends that you have seen abroad and Romania will adopt soon?
The first thing that I would mention is big data.
Okay.
I'm not sure that is typical for the West. I think you see this all over the world, but I think it's something that also obviously hit our industry. And what I mean with that is we are traditionally an industry with a lot of data, but I think there are opportunities to use it better and to create more insight out of that data. So I think that is a trend that we will see. It's absolutely something that is on my agenda for Cargus, to actually leverage the data that we have, whether it's operational data or commercial data, better in support of the business. What do I mean with that? Is that data obviously can be used to, for instance, optimize the network better, to reduce our cost, to use our assets better. But it can also be used to create a better customer experience. Give you one example. We know, based on historic data, the routes that our drivers take and when they will be at a specific point, because most of the drivers follow a somewhat similar route every day. Based on that data, we could predict at what time we're going to deliver your package at your house. Currently, we don't leverage that data yet, and we could. And that is, I think,
so you can announce the receiver, the buyer, that his package will arrive at 2 p.m. today.
Well, I wouldn't be
That's our predict.
I wouldn't be that specific.
Okay.
In the beginning, because you use historical data to predict the future. The better way of doing that is when you actually have perfect insight into what is on the package car every day, and then when that hard data to plan the route, and based on that route planning to actually be more specific to the consumer. And that is where we want to go.
Okay,
but obviously that takes some time to develop this, so that will not be for tomorrow, but hopefully early 24 is when we plan to go to market with that. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So that's one trend that will come to Romania.
Yeah. Another
Anything
one.
else?
Yeah. I think an important one to mention is sustainability, right? So we all know that the big cities, they suffer with traffic. We have that here in Bucharest as well. I'm not that long here, but I could experience already. We know in London that the congestion has caused the local government to say, you know, these type of trucks are no longer to hit the city. Only Euro 6 type of vehicles are allowed to go in. Sometimes it's just only pedestrians or only electric vehicles, and people need to pay. So there's a cost to enter if you can enter. This, I think, has made many logistics companies rethink how to serve customers in big cities. I would call that city logistics. And I think that is going to be a big trend that will also come to Romania. What do I mean with that? Is to rethink about how you do the deliveries. And when you only can go in with electric vehicles, then you might need to find, and no longer with big trucks, you need to rethink how you get your packages into the center, how you store them, how you dispatch drivers. And what we have seen is that we now start to make use much more of helpers, meaning walkers, people that actually walk around with a couple of packages under their arm, then go back to a central point. That central point could be what they call a dark store, so there is no window. It's used for storage, small quantities, and people start walking and delivering from there.
In the proximity.
In the proximity. We also have seen mobile applications of that. So there where a truck could go in, it's like a truck where all the walkers and the bikers actually come together and are being dispatched from there. I think these are trends that we're going to see more and more. And that's also where the connection can be made with the out-of-home network. Mm-hmm. Because now these retail locations become even more important because they could also fulfill this type of roles in the process. And you could even think about a solution whereby we would go just straight to the PUDO location and say, your package is there. Do you want to have it delivered still to your home? Okay, we will do that, but we do it at night with a biker as a second instance. So rather than to go straight to the home and then to a PUDO location, we turn that process around, all in favor of the recipient who has more flexibility, of course, and options.
Okay, talking about e-commerce, how was Black Friday for you guys compared to the previous years and also compared to 2019? Because just to have a benchmark.
Yeah.
How is it in terms of number of expeditions, and what are your expectations for the holiday season?
Yes. Let me honestly say that the 19 question I cannot really answer because I don't have the numbers yet. But
Okay.
I can tell you this year versus last year.
Okay.
So if we look overall, it has been a fairly good year, or a good peak period, I should say. It has been around 20% volume growth, so that's very substantial. And maybe a little less than what we expected, but still a very good number, considering what the buzz in the market. Because to be honest, we didn't really know, and neither did our customers, how it would play out this year, given the economic situations. Yeah. What I think is different this year from the other years is the fact that we had a more equal spread. So we actually had a bit of a slow start at the beginning of November, and then suddenly, close to Black Friday, it started to peak. And as a result, we actually had the biggest peak day we have ever had in the history of the company.
That's nice.
So we did about, on that day, what last year was also a big peak moment, we did about another 30 to 40% more than last year on that peak day, which is an absolute amazing number. When it comes to the Christmas period, we see that volume levels, obviously after Black Friday, went down a little bit again, but still are up nicely compared to the year before. And we believe that trend will continue into the holiday period. It's clear, though, that consumers really look for the best prices and the best opportunities, which is also, I think, why they have been waiting a little bit early November to see what's coming.
Discounts,
yeah,
of course.
But obviously, knowing how big Christmas in Romania is, we expect still to have a very good,
so
let's say,
some good
second
news.
peak. Very good news.
Okay, and how was this year in terms of consumer behavior? Are there any changes? Because I saw a lot of things that are happening in the consumer mind. They want flexibility, they want convenience. Are there any changes that will be here to stay?
Good question. I would say the core things that were the key things that were important in the past and this year will be important next year and the years to come, in my view. You talked about convenience already. I would also say choice and control. I always call them the 3 C's. Choice, convenience, control are like super important for consumers. I already mentioned that also before, that that was one of the reasons or the fears that the older generation had before COVID. And when they tried, they actually felt that they are in control. When we talk about, let's say, the changes, I'm not so sure there are too many, other than on the supplier side, the merchant side, that it is important for them to realize that what choice really means, and that they also have to provide choice. So consumers indicate that if they don't find the solution that they're looking for, 75% of consumers say, I will abandon the cart and I will not shop any further. So I think this is an important thing that merchants need to realize. And I also, in that context, again mention out of home. They need to start adding that to their portfolio of services that they offer to the consumer. Another one that I want to call out, and it's not a change, but I think another very important thing is returns. Returns, if you have an open, easy return policy as a merchant, you give control to your consumer. And again, one of the 3 C's. So providing proper returns is going to be key. Again, being added to the choice. And we as Carglass will launch our return service early next year, full blown. We already had components, but end of this year, we will be done with the development of our full returns portfolio. And I think that will be a great thing for the consumer in the market, and for the merchants too, because it helps them to provide better service and to fight abandonment.
What will Carglass focus on next year, given the not so optimistic economic period and geopolitical situation, what will be your focus? Developing, I don't know, the lockers, the mobile app. Will you invest next year also, or will you stay a bit like let's pass by this period?
No, absolutely not. We will go full throttle. So we're gonna definitely invest. The first one I would like to mention, and I reiterate what I said at the beginning, is international. International is super important for us. I believe that is really one of the biggest growth engines and opportunities we have. As a matter of fact, we already started with international. So we started in Poland. We put feet on the ground in terms of salespeople. We opened a cross-dock facility to sort packages. And we also opened up a feeder connection between Romania, Oradea, and destinations in Poland 3 times a week. And we started to explore the market and to win customers that are already in our network. So international is going to be big. We're going to expand to Germany, to Czech, to Slovakia, to Hungary, and we're also looking at Bulgaria and Greece.
So right now you have the presence in Poland, and the other countries will be available next year for cargos?
Yes, in the course of next year. As said, we're building, so we're investing in people, we're recruiting.
Excellent.
We will set up more cross-dock facilities, and we will expand the network.
So any online shop from Romania will be able to sell abroad using your services in those countries?
No, the first focus is on the import. So we will find customers, merchants that want to sell in Romania.
Okay.
That's the first focus. And why? Because we can bring in the volume and we deliver with our own network throughout Europe, throughout Romania. In the other countries, for the export, we will need to find partners. And we're in the process of doing that, but that will take a little longer. So it will be first import from a Romanian perspective and then export. The second thing that I want to mention is logistics. So we have invested in logistic capacity, warehousing capacity, fulfillment capacity by acquiring a company called QOps. This company was operating side by side with Cargos, but it's fully owned, and I have the responsibility for that activity as well. And what we're going to do moving forward is we're going to really go to market combined. So in the context of international, and this is just one example, we would like to offer customers, the merchants, the opportunity to sell in the Romanian market, but also give them the opportunity to store inventory here in Romania, have a late pickup. For instance, we process shipments until 10 o'clock at night. So orders coming in at 9 will still be processed before 10. Cargos will pick it up. We bring it into the network, fulfillment the next day. So your ship or you're operating from Germany or Poland, but you actually operate like a local player. And I think that is a great, let's say, service that we have to offer to merchants. And in that same context, think about making a connection with Constanța Harbor. Right now, a lot of goods from China will go to Hamburg, to Rotterdam, or to Antwerp, and then they go into a warehouse over there, and they are being moved to Romania at a later stage. We could change that and say containers meant for Romania, ship them into Constanța. We do the warehousing here for you, pick, pack, ship, and here you go, and save actually cost and be faster to market.
Will you also handle the returns to those depots? Because this is a very big problem, mostly on cross-border transactions.
Yes, it's actually good you're asking this because I really believe that's another opportunity. So think about, let's say, a Polish merchant selling in Romania that doesn't have stock in Romania. Instead of, and you ship something back, you bought something, you ship it back to the company in Poland. Rather than that it goes to Poland, it goes to our facility, we unpack, we do the quality check, we shelve it again, And now this Polish company has the opportunity to sell that good immediately again, doesn't have the cost of going all the way back to Poland. It's also good for the environment, and their cash flow actually improves because, as I said, they can sell faster, money comes in faster, etc., etc. So a great example of where a good returns process can not only be good for the consumer, but also for the merchant.
And one last question, because we are approaching the end of the episode. You talked about sustainability. Do you have any plans regarding electric vehicles and so on?
I would say it's still a little bit too early for me to answer that question with a clear yes. It's obviously something that we want to do, electric vehicles. But we have to talk with our partners and also convince them. And there's also a cost aspect, plus infrastructure. Our buildings need to be ready to actually load those vehicles, etc. So there are important steps that need to be taken. But when it comes to sustainability, I have just appointed a person in our organization who is going to do nothing else than sustainability. In the coming months, we will unfold our plans in terms of what exactly we're going to do. But one of the important things that we could start with right away is, for instance, related to packaging. I think packaging today, we give out a lot of plastic. We did our best to go with thinner plastic that then also has quality issues sometimes and gives, again, issues in the process itself. But first steps have been taken, but there is so much more possible, especially to do. And also, if you look at new innovative ideas when it comes to packaging that hit the market, we should explore them and actually do our contribution to a more sustainable environment.
Yannick, in the end, do you want to add something as a conclusion for this episode?
There's actually one thing I want to say.
Please do so.
Because I thought maybe doing it at the beginning. Yesterday night, we attended the GovNet Gala
event.
And guess what? We won 2 prizes.
Congratulations.
So I start with the smaller one that was related to our app and the digitalization and the customer experience, which is obviously great. It's the second year in a row that we won that prize. But the one that really touched me and all of my colleagues is the fact that we got the prize for most impressive business evolution.
Excellent.
So it shows that Cargos is on the roll, that we're doing the right thing for our customers and their consumers, that it is noted in the market, because obviously this is based on feedback that GovNet got from the market. And I'm super proud of Cargos and of our people. I have had a very small little contribution to it, but my team did all the work, and it shows we're on the right path, and we're going to continue on that path and actually accelerate.
Congratulations, and thank you very much for joining us at ePlan. It was a pleasure, and thank you very much for the insights. Vă mulțumesc tare mult și vouă că ne-ați urmărit. Sunt Andrei Radu. Până data viitoare, stay digital!